So today we're going to talk about Socratic seminars. You guys are going to end up with an opportunity to experience having a Socratic seminar, even though it's going to be a little bit less traditional because you're doing it online. But first of all, go ahead and pull up the Google Slides that you should have found on Google Classroom. Okay? And you're going to be taking notes on this piece of paper. So we'll go through them together and you'll take notes as we go through. Okay? So find your Google Slides. Okay, so first of all, positive seminar norms. So when you are doing a Socratic seminar, one of the things that's really important is to stay on topic, okay? So for each one of these, you're going to have a few questions, a few big questions that we want to answer or come close to understanding. You might not have a specific answer for every question, but your goal is to try to understand possible answers for these questions better. Okay, some of these are existential questions, which means that they might not be completely answerable. You might not have one correct answer to it, right? Okay, so while you're staying on that topic, it's also important that you're using quotes and page numbers to support your opinion. Don't just say, I believe this, and give no evidence to support it. Use the articles that we've done research with to give support to your opinion, okay? Also, it's important if you're doing this in person to track the speaker, to pay attention to them, always watching what they're saying and doing, and then to take turns speaking. So how this would play out on Google Classroom is that you would take turns replying. So if one person is responding to someone else's comment, wait to see what they say before you interrupt, because they might have asked the same question that you were going to ask, or they might have said the same thing. Okay, it's good to add on to what they've said, but try not to repeat the same thing over and over again, okay? All right, moving on. Habits to avoid. So again, this is something that is more applicable to when you're doing it in person, but you don't want to cut your classmates off, so you don't want to interrupt them if you're doing this in person. And like we were talking about, you don't want to respond before someone else has finished their response, because they might have said the same thing that you were going to say. You don't want to switch your topic before the conversation is over. So if it seems like there's still more that could be said about a topic, don't start talking about something else. Finish that topic first and then move on, okay? You also need to participate. That's not an option. You have to participate in this conversation. Just sitting back and watching what everyone else is saying isn't an option, okay? And then finally, don't be rude or insult someone else's response. Okay? Don't say that was stupid or I disagree and then not explain why. But acknowledge someone else's opinion. Say, oh, I see why you're saying this, but this is the problem I have with it. Or say, that was a good idea, but this is a slightly different idea, okay? You want to be nice to each other. All right, moving on. So I believe there's 6 different procedures that we're going to use when we're doing these Socratic seminars. The first one is respond to your classmates, okay? Seems pretty obvious, but make sure that you're actually in dialogue with one another, okay? Don't just say random comments that have nothing to do with what anyone else has said or with a topic. If you're not sure what someone else has said or why they said it, you can ask them for clarification, or if you want to know more, ask them for more information. So some ways you might do that are in those sentence frames that you see on the right side. So for example, if I didn't understand what someone said, I'd ask them, could you please rephrase that? Or I didn't understand what you said, could you please repeat it? Okay, so those are some options that you have. The second procedure, keep the conversation moving, okay? So listen to what other people are saying or read what other people are saying. And then when it seems like it's actually over, they don't have anything else that's valuable to say, go ahead and change the topic. All right, procedure number 3, share your opinion of the text. So you've all had a chance to read through these texts, to respond to them, to ask questions about them on your papers. Make sure that you're sharing those thoughts and those questions that you've had, and then use your knowledge of what you've read to answer discussion questions other people might have and to give your opinion. Okay? This is again where you might want to quote your evidence. All right, procedure number 4. Explore different perspectives. So don't be afraid to disagree with classmates. That's perfectly fine as long as you're being respectful when you're doing it. And then let others know how you understood the story or the text, how you viewed the character or the events or the topic. Okay? We want you to have an opinion. Procedure number 5, add on to the ideas of others. So don't just listen to what people are saying, but also add on to their ideas. So if you agreed with someone, say, oh, I agree with that too, and this is why, okay? Or you can add on to what they're saying by giving more evidence that supports them. And last, procedure number 6, use text evidence. So we read those articles for a reason. Use those to support your opinion, okay? If people don't know what you're talking about, make sure that you tell them where you found it in their text so that they can see it as well. Okay, rules. This doesn't really apply to when we're doing our Google Classroom conversations, but if we were doing this in person, we would have 2 circles. One would be an outside circle, which is mainly people who are observing what's going on, and that is what these first rules are about. So these people would keep track of the questions that were answered and asked and the thoughts that were shared, and then take notes about it. They'd think of new questions and ideas that build on the ideas presented by the inside circle, so that when it was their turn to be on the inside, they're building on the first circle's ideas and not just repeating them. They would also be tracking the speakers at all times. And then at the end, they would kind of do a coaching session with the people who had been on the inside and give them suggestions for improvement for the next time. Okay? Then if you were sitting on the inside of the circle, your role would be to share your thoughts and questions about the text, to build on and add to the thoughts of other students, to be actively engaged by listening to and tracking the other speakers, and to look and listen to your own feedback when the time is up. So this would again be the coaching sessions where your outside partner would give you some feedback. So most of this is what you guys will be doing on Google Classroom. You're sharing your own thoughts and questions about the text and adding on to other people's thoughts, as well as paying attention to what they're saying. Okay? So that's the end of that part. All right. So you should have filled out all of these points on these papers. And then on that last paper, we have some sentence frames. So those were your opportunities of different ways you could respond if you need some help starting out. All right. So that's your guide to Socratic seminars. Again, we're going to do ours a little bit differently because it will be online, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it.